Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour's Golden Hour. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're so excited to be back.
Yes, we are. And if you haven't done it yet, now really is the time to follow our podcast so you never miss an episode. Just search for Bachelor Happy Hour in the podcast app and hit the follow button.
Yes, super important that you follow the podcast because then you'll get notified every time there's a new episode. Also, while you're there, leave us a review or submit a question that we'll talk about.
And make sure to check out all of our past episodes. Susan and I have been having so much fun answering your questions and, of course, giving our opinions. So keep those questions and comments coming at bachelornation.com/golden hour. We have some great questions today and that we're going to get to in a minute. But first, we have to introduce our very, very special guest. We love her. Bachelor Nation's fan favorite and sweetheart, Daisy Kent is here. Daisy, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
How are you?
I am doing so good.
You look beautiful, I'll tell you that.
Your smile is radiant.
Aw, thank you. That means so much.
So I just have to jump right in because I heard that you rekindled with someone.
Yes.
Yes. How did it happen? Like, did you call him? Did he call you? Did you bump into him at Whole Foods? I mean,
yeah, ran into each other. We had always been we've always been good friends. And then after the show, reached back out to me and we just decided to kind of give it another shot, and it's going really good. I'm really happy. Yeah, I think everything happened for a reason, and I'm just this season of my life. I'm really happy, and I'm really enjoying it all. And so much has changed, but it's all really exciting and really good things. So it's all very positive right now, and I haven't had that in a really long time. So I'm just feeling really thankful and blessed.
Oh, I love that.
So Daisy, tell me what makes this, like, you haven't posted a lot about him. I know his name is Thor, but you haven't posted a lot about him. And Susan and I were wondering, when do you bring a relationship out in the public? How are you handling that, especially coming off of a very public dating show?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming off the show, and airing for everyone to see, and it is like a dating show. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be more invested in my dating life versus if I hadn't done like a reality dating show, if it would have been something else, which I think is a really unique and cool thing. But I think it also can be a little bit stressful at times. And I think just kind of, I wanted to kind of feel it out. And, we're like, me and him are still like growing, like figuring out our relationship and everything too. So I feel like it's kind of a thing that I've been kind of slowly like integrating, but we spend a lot of time together. And
do you live in the same town?
No, we don't. But we see each other pretty often, which is nice. And we're not that far. He's in Vegas and I'm in LA right now. So
that's not too far.
Family, but yeah, we're making it work. So yeah, but I think like coming up, I'll be like posting more and stuff, which I'm excited about too.
You know what? It's nobody's business but yours.
Yeah.
So when you want to share it, share it. And if you don't, it's all about you.
Yeah. And that's something I've been trying to navigate too. And a thing too on like my social media, like a lot of people I think were so drawn to me because of like my story and my health issues and how I've like gotten through them and all of that stuff too. So I think on my social media too, like that's a huge, like important thing for me to share because I want to talk about that also and all of that stuff. So I think making it, it is my social media. So making it.
Right.
Kind of like,
so that actually, Daisy, is our topic of the day is, how do you decide how much of your relationship, your personal life that you want to share online versus, keeping it private. So it sounds like you're trying to navigate that.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and like, this is all so new to me. Like, I feel like I'm kind of in this whole like new world. And And like, I mean, I'm still me, and like my life is still a lot the same, but it's also really different. So I think kind of learning how to navigate, not just even posting and talking about my new relationship, but also talking about like my family and talking about stuff like that. And I am a very like open and vulnerable person. It took me a while to be like that, but I am. And I think I want to keep doing that and sharing that, but I also like I want to respect like my family and my friends and the people and like my boyfriend, about like sharing,
She called him a boyfriend.
I love it. I want to say that.
I was just going to say, Susan and I don't Susan does.
We don't get to say that.
We don't get to say that because we don't worry about our private and public life because we're not dating anyone. So it's really simple.
We got to find you guys some men.
Yeah.
Your lips to God's ears, Daisy, please.
I will. I'm gonna start looking.
Okay. I'll hold you to
keep
it.
us in mind. Keep us in mind. We need a whole new show.
We're the luckiest people in the whole world.
Oh, Daisy. Well, she's beautiful and sweet and kind. It's so not fair.
I gotta have it.
So we wanted to touch on. You talked on the Bachelor about how dating was difficult with a cochlear implant. Can you expound on that just a little bit? And why was it or has it been so difficult for you?
Yeah, I think the difficult part was I was sick for such a long time, so it was kind of dating people. I always thought who would want to be with me when I come with all of this extra stuff. I'm not just like a normal girl in my life. At that time, like my life will always be a little bit different, but at that time my life was a lot different. And so it was kind of, I never wanted to feel like a burden on someone, which I think like me looking at somebody who like has the health issues that I have or went through what I went through, I would never think that when I'm looking at them. But when you look at yourself, for me, I think it was hard to kind of realize that and accept myself when I was going through all of that. So I felt like I didn't want to put that on anybody else. And then when I started getting healthy, it was kind of, how do I explain all of this to someone and how is anyone ever going to understand? And I think it was my aunt or my sister, I was telling them that one time, and they said, Daisy, nobody's ever going to understand, even us, your family, the people closest to you, they're never going to understand exactly what you went through, but the most somebody can do is try to understand. Mm-hmm. And that kind of flipped the perspective for me. And then I got my cochlear implant a little over a year ago, and my life honestly just started changing, and I was so much happier, and I felt like I was just living life again. I mean, I could hear, I could communicate with people, and it was difficult at first.
So I'm curious, is it getting easier and easier to understand the longer you have the cochlear implant?
Yeah, it gets better and better every time. It was actually, I think like a week ago, I was playing a song, and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like how the singer used to sound before I started losing my hearing. So it's little moments like that are really special, and it does just keep getting better and better.
I have a question for you. Do you feel as if you weren't as hard on yourself back then, that it would have been a little easier?
Yeah, I think it, like to date.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would have been definitely easier to date, but I think I was going through so much, like emotionally and physically, that I think it was the best thing that I focused on myself and, like focused on building myself up, because I think if I wouldn't have done that, it wouldn't have, I remember, I think it was on like a podcast right after I got after the show, and I was like, if I would have gone on the show even like 5 months earlier, 6 months earlier, I don't think I would have been able to completely handle it. I think I was still kind of figuring myself out a little bit, and I was still learning how to hear with my cochlear implant. So everything was just like perfect timing. Like I definitely feel like God had a plan with everything, because just how it's all like went, and it's all been such a beautiful thing for me. It's been hard at times, but definitely like the good has overpowered like everything.
Are you so proud of yourself?
You should be.
Yes.
A single moment can change the course of your business forever.
I'm like this 22-year-old kid going up against one of the biggest companies in the world.
I was going to need to raise more capital, and I was going to need to be able to do it quickly.
But the entrepreneurs who power through adversity have a special name around here. We call them the Unshakables. I'm Ben Walter, CEO of Chase for Business.
And I'm Tanya Nebo, a lawyer and consultant to entrepreneurs. These are the everyday, regular people who decided to take a risk and start a business.
Because with great risk, you took all the losses.
$2 million.
Comes great reward.
It was their best sale of all time. It literally crushed their website shut off, everything sold out.
This is the Unshakables from Chase for Business and Ruby Studio. Listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Aloha, mamá. ¿Dónde andas? Seguro de compras. Tengo mucho que contarte. Hawái es increíble. He estado de un lado a otro con mi unidad. Todos son súper talentosos. Ya reparamos otro helicóptero Blackhawk y oficialmente formamos nuestro equipo.
60 premium cocktails on demand. All natural juices and bitters with
A lot about at our age, How old are you, Daisy?
I am 25.
So while you're talking, first of all, you speak so eloquently, but, Susan and I talk a lot about at our age, we've learned so much, and our stories are very different when we're at this stage in our life. But do you think part of your dating, yes, a cochlear implant is a huge thing, and it has dramatically changed your life. But don't you think that, I'm asking, your age, like you're changing so much when you're in your young 20s, and just adding that on top of it, I just feel like you've handled this masterfully.
Thank you. I don't think I would have handled it like the way I have if it wasn't for my family and my parents that I have. They really kind of picked me up and helped me navigate everything and figure everything out when I was really struggling. And even still, they're like always people that I go to, and my friends. I have such like an amazing friend group from high school and college that I'm very, very blessed in that whole aspect. And like going through like that age I remember when I graduated college, it was like everyone was getting these cool jobs and doing all these things, and I was sick and doing treatments and had to go over to Germany and stuff. And
right.
So I think it definitely, I had a different life experience at that age than most people do my age, but I think in a way it prepared me for a lot, and I think it's given me a really unique outlook on life.
Do you have any advice for any other young woman going through what you just went through to make it easier on them?
I would just say like you have to keep like believing that you can get through it and that it's going to get better, and to really lean on the people that love you, and also be like open about when you're struggling, because there were sometimes like I didn't want to tell people that I was really struggling because I didn't want to like hurt them or be, but sometimes you just need some help, and like it's okay to need help.
Very mature.
When you say you didn't feel good, what were you feeling when you were sick?
When I was sick?
Yes. Like what kind of sick were you?
It was like a bunch of different things. I would have seizures. There were some days towards like the end before I went to Germany and got the treatment there, I was laying in bed all day. I couldn't really get out. My parents would have to help me out of bed, and I would be throwing up in the toilet. But before that, I would have like a lot of migraines, vertigo. I just felt really weak.
You said you had Lyme disease, right? Didn't you, Daisy? Yeah.
And look at you now.
Yeah, look at you. So you just answered that women should believe in themselves and reach out for help. What would your dating advice be? What do you wish the guys had done differently? And what would you tell guys out there about dating someone with a disability?
I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions about it, and ask them how they're feeling and how they're doing. And also you don't always have to be going and doing things. Sometimes the best thing is just to sit on the couch and hang out and do
be
stuff.
there. Yeah.
So does Thor, how does he support you in this? Obviously it's working, whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Is it just something that clicks?
Yeah, it's just something, I think it just clicks, and he is the most, he's like the kindest person I've ever met in my life, and he would do anything for anybody. He's just a very like giving, loving person.
Just like you. Just like you.
That's right.
Perfect match.
Takes two to tango here.
Yeah, but I don't know. He has so much respect for everyone, like shows so many people so much respect, and he's just constantly like uplifting me. And
Wow.
What's the best date he took you on so far?
the best date. So he does actually, well, it wasn't really like a date, but I'll call it a date. But he does like off-road racing, and I went off-road racing with him. And it was cool because he like loves to do it. It's one of his passions. So to be like in that element with him was really, really fun. And I went in it's like a off-road race truck, and I went in it, and it was terrifying.
I was just going to say, were you scared? I would have been scared. How fast does he go?
I looked down at like the speed, and it said 117, and it's like it's not like you're going straight. It's like you're off-roading, so it's like a bunch of bumps and like I saw 117. I was like, I can't look at this speed.
I love it. That is
awesome.
So Daisy, when there's so many people out there that have disabilities that want to date, and they struggle. I feel sure knowing when, and I know you talked about this on the show a little bit, but when do you disclose? When's the right time to disclose a disability? Because I think you really do. You represent people. I think women and others with disabilities listen and reach and really want to understand. And I think you have a good idea of when that should be disclosed.
Yeah, I think it's when you feel comfortable about it, and when like a person that you're with should feel comfortable around talking to them, but it is a hard thing to talk about because not everybody understands it. And I really understand that. And so I think knowing like when the best time is for you to share it. And also you don't want to be with someone who's not going to love and support you. So if you do open up about it and they don't have a good response, you wouldn't want to be with that person anyway.
That's sort of like a built-in red flag, isn't it? I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, interesting.
But it is nerve-wracking because it's like it's a part of me. Like this is always going to be a part of me. And sometimes, you don't know how people are going to react to it.
And you wouldn't just tell anyone. It would be somebody that you're feeling some chemistry with and that you trust.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like some people are very open about like disabilities. Other people are not, and that's okay too. But I think for me, I found that it's way more easy to be open about it and help other people try to understand it, because I think about too, like I go and read my book to a lot of like elementary and like preschoolers about my cochlear implant stuff, and a lot of them it's like their first time seeing something like that. And I remember before I found out that I had to get a cochlear implant, and this is for like everything in general, like there's not enough of awareness about stuff like that. So if someone asks me a question, and it's like any question that someone asks me is if they're doing it in like a respectful way, it's not a dumb question, because
they want to understand
what I've gone through, so I'd rather them ask questions and be open about it. And especially talking to like little kids about it, because I've realized like it's so intriguing to them, because a lot of them have never seen anything like that or talked about things and disabilities.
And children are innocent. They're not judging you ever. They're just, as you say, clearly intrigued by it. They just want to understand it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, even as you get older, are intrigued about it too, but they get scared to ask questions because I think sometimes in society, like we're told it's wrong to. So I just I think after being on the show too, it really made me want to bridge that gap and open up more conversation about it and let other people with disabilities feel more comfortable.
When you first got it, I know you couldn't immediately hear every single thing. You had to get used to it, right? You had to.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
It was I thought it was going to be way scarier than what it was, but I think I was so excited when I got it activated because sometimes you can't hear speech, and I could hear speech. It just sounded really kind of weird. It sounded like chipmunks, like
Did it?
but it was like, but I looked at it as like a game, and so it was like every sound I heard, I was getting closer and closer to winning the game. And I remember I woke up in bed, and the first thing I do is put it on, and I heard my like sheets move, and I was like, I forgot that made sound. And like the dishwasher making noise, raindrops, all of that I had forgotten that made noise.
Wow, it's a miracle.
Amazing.
I
It
just
is.
love
It's
technology, right?
it's hearing how it has changed your life. You know, Nancy on the show was on our show, and she talked to us about, you really are an amazing person. You encouraged your journey encouraged her to get a pump for her diabetes because she was very self-conscious about it. And literally after watching you on the show, she said, you know what, it's a disability, but it's something I live with. And so just know that you're crossing all generations here.
And her ear candy, as she calls it, because she wears them. Yeah. So you are good for everybody. And I'm so happy
that
for
makes
you.
me emotional.
I'm so happy for you. I loved you. I loved the way you exited that show. You were first class and humble and beautiful inside and out. And we're so happy for you.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from you too.
Yeah, you are truly, I wish everyone could just see the beautiful smile you exude.
That we see.
Yeah, you exude confidence, beauty inside and out. You really are an amazing woman.
So, Thor, if you're going to listen to this, you're going to have to answer to us if she ever doesn't have a smile on her face.
Or any other guy she decides to date. Let's not just pick on one.
Start a business.
Because with
His favorite cocktail capsule pack, $50 maker, $50.
In North America, they're comfy. Switched to Knix.
You kind of give us your perspective and So Daisy, we do some advice questions. You want to join in on this with us?
This
we
is
read some
fun.
questions. It's fun. We read some questions and then you kind of give us your perspective. And what do you say? Are you willing in for it?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
All right. You want to go for the first one, Susan?
Sure. Okay, this is from Ava, and she's 28 from Seattle. Hello, ladies. I'm reaching out about my relationship with my partner. We dated in high school, early college, and she cheated on me back then. We broke up and I was heartbroken. Now, in our late 20s, we've reconnected and started dating again. But we feel like two totally different people. I usually don't go back to exes, but we've both really grown up and have healed from what has happened in the past. I think we are a really good match now that we have time to go our separate ways and find our way back to each other as adults. The problem is my family and friends have not forgiven her and are making it very hard to welcome her back into my life. They are on the once a cheater, always a cheater train after seeing how much she hurt me. But we were really young and I have moved on from it. How do I get them to let go and just be happy for us? I think she could really be the one, and I'm feeling sad they won't give us a fresh start and her a second chance. What should I do? XO, Ava. Oh. They grew up. I mean, you have to let it do it again. There might be a little concern in the back of their minds, I think. How about you, Daisy?
Yeah, I feel like if you're close, like with your family, they love you more than anything. So they're always going to be looking out for you. Mm-hmm. But if they see you happy, they're going to be happy for you. It just might take some time. Like you said, there might be a little bit of concern.
Give them time.
Yeah,
I think you haven't have like a sit down like conversation with all of them or some of them.
They've obviously grown up. She's matured. They both matured. She's apologized and they want a fresh start. I mean, you have to take chances in life, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the family. Sometimes families just need time to see. I don't know about you, Susan, but we are mama bears, and our children, we take care of them, and we don't like to see our children hurt. I'm sure, Daisy, your parents don't like to see you get hurt. So, so I just think, Ava, it's going to take a little bit of time, and when they see how happy you are, you know what?
They'll be fine.
The past will go into the past, and the future will be bright. That's what I think.
Just enjoy your partner. It's sometimes not about what our parents think. It's about how you're feeling with your partner. Like my children, if their spouse, if they do something, I don't want to know all the bad things if they argue or fight or something, because then you develop a thing in your head. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to like them or accept them or whatever. But
do you talk to your parents a lot, Daisy, about your relationship with, just in general? Do you talk to your parents about dating?
Yeah, I'm very open with them. I would say like throughout high school, maybe I didn't as much, but I feel like you're kind of going through like that awkward kind of life. But when I went away to college, then everything I started talking with them about, and I talked to them about everything pretty much.
So based on this question, I got to ask you, Daisy, what did they say when you got back with Thor?
They love him. They've like always really loved him. But my parents, they're very loving people. And
well, it's obvious listening to you that you got it. You got it from somewhere. But you guys didn't part. I mean, you and Thor did not part in a bad way back in the day.
No. No, we dated for a little bit and didn't work out, so we stopped dating, and it was like we were always friends in the in-between time. It wasn't like anything bad. It wasn't like something.
So how
horrible.
excited are your parents now? Did they say, "Oh, we always liked him"? Are they on that train?
Yeah, they're on the train.
He watched you grow up and bloom and become this magnificent, sexy woman. He was like, what did I do? I need more of that.
You know what he did? He just waited around. He waited around for her to go live her life and get straight with who she is. And then he soared. Because remember, he reached out to you. Is that right, Daisy?
Yeah.
And if he proposes, you know who to call, right?
Yeah, I know.
Daisy, she always works that in, always. All right, well, let's move on to our second question here. This is from Carl. He is 58, and he's from Minneapolis. Hi, Golden Hour podcast. My name is Carl. I listened to your episode with Nancy where she talked about the gentleman who didn't want to date her because she has diabetes. I am also struggling with dating now as someone with an autoimmune disease called AS, and I'm going to try to say it, ankylosing spondylitis.
Very good, Kathy.
You're welcome. I felt called to reach out for advice after hearing Nancy, so thank you to her. I feel like no women my age are open to helping to help take care of me when I need it, though I mostly care for myself and feel good a lot of the time. I go back and forth on if I should even share about my condition because of how my dates have responded. Thank you both for any words of wisdom you may have. Best regards.
That's a perfect scenario of what we just asked her. When do you share? When's a good time to share your disability?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the first question here. I think Carl also, he's 58. He's not starting out his life like Daisy. Mm-hmm. And so at 58, he said no women my age are open to taking care of me when I need it. So clearly this is a guy that's going to need some care. But I think Daisy hit on it earlier. If you forge a relationship with someone and you see they have a caring heart, that's not going to be as big an issue, I don't think.
What do you think, Daisy?
Yeah, I don't think so at all. Yeah, if you meet somebody that truly love you and care for you.
Daisy, are you familiar with the story that Nancy told about this guy? You may not be familiar with that.
Mm-mm.
She dated a guy Yeah, thumbs down. She dated a guy, and I think on the second date, he said to her, because I guess she told him that she is diabetic, and he told her he didn't want to see her anymore because he really didn't want to date a woman with any health issues. Subsequently, so that was it. Subsequently, he married a woman who now has a life-threatening health issue. So, that's just bizarre. But Nancy, she was brokenhearted that she really liked this guy.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever get rejected because of your condition?
Me?
Yes.
Not that I know of, but I also wasn't really dating much,
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
What advice do we have for Carl?
Well, my advice is don't open up about your diagnosis until you really feel comfortable with that person.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel that she has a heart as warm as daisies, probably not the woman for you. So I think it's timing. It's all timing.
Yeah. That's a tough one, though, isn't it? He's 58 years old, and it's a muscle thing, right?
It's an inflammation of joints. It can be very painful,
crippling. You can't move.
Yeah, it can be very painful. You can't move well.
I wonder how long each episode lasts.
I don't know. I have to get on WebMD to figure it out, but I can tell you it's a tough diagnosis. I actually know someone who was diagnosed with it, and it's not an easy thing. But again, Susan, we talk about as we get older, we have issues, health issues, and anyone that we decide to date, it can be an issue. I mean, a guy that I dated for a little while and we're just friends, he just got a cancer diagnosis. I mean, we're getting to that age where, unfortunately, health issues become a concern.
Which is why I started 4 weeks ago. Wait to hear this, Daisy. Now I'm a person that never worked out, okay? I saw something on TikTok, and I started with 50 push-ups off the kitchen counter, not on the floor, and 50 squats and some tummy work and back work on the floor. I'm up to 70 a day, and it's week 4. So I was on television for something, and somebody wrote in and said, Susan, your arms and your shoulders. I was like, oh, my God, it shows. So that just goes to show you got to work out. You got to take care of your body because anything can happen, just like Carl.
Hey, Susan, who got you working out?
Oh, you had me walking. I know, Kathy, in 95 degrees.
Susan came to visit me in Austin. I said, let's go. We're walking. I bet you work out, don't you, Daisy?
Yes, I do. I've been traveling so much. I actually said I need to figure out a way to
do the push-ups off the bureau.
Okay, I'll send you a video of me doing it.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Daisy, you are a doll baby. I
Thank
just hope we get to be in each other's company again.
Yes, I would love to see you guys in person soon.
We would love it. We loved getting to chat with you. And unfortunately, that's going to do it for this episode of Bachelor Happy Hour's Golden Hour. Thank you all so much for joining us. And be sure to follow Bachelor Happy Hour as we have new episodes coming out every week that you won't want to miss.
And make sure to submit your questions to us. You can go to bachelornation.com/golden hour or hit us up on social media at Bachelor Happy Hour.
Listen to Bachelor Happy Hour's Golden Hour on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
And thank you, Daisy. You were the best.
You are the best. Keep that smile.
Thor, be good to her. Ciao.
So this year, I'm really focused on my health, sticking to a routine, and that's why I've been loving Symbiotica. Symbiotica is one of the fastest.
Support my immune system with the supplements that I've been taking, so I've been taking them
This summer, it's time to get your giggle on. Pluto TV's Summer of Cinema is going to make you LOL with hundreds of free
New iPhone 15s?
It's better over here.
Only at T-Mobile.